All right, let's talk about our STEAM research project. You might have heard it called the Wax Museum Project by other teachers. Essentially, you are going to embody a historical person that fits the requirements of our world history curriculum. So we cover world history from the year 300 to about 1630, 1650. So I have a list of people that I have collected from that time period. And if you look at Google Classroom, I've actually already told you what person you are responsible for researching. So please make sure you look there to see who you are in charge of. All right, so this research project has multiple steps. You can see here that you have your research packet, a pictorial input chart, a process grid, a speech, and your presentation. So this is in order of deadline. You notice the deadlines are listed here for you. So if you want to take a moment to look at a calendar, feel free to do so. And then the point spread is here. So obviously with a research project, the first step is to start with research. I am not there to help you choose, therefore I've just, assigned them, so please ignore that fact here. You have been given a historically significant figure from the list provided, and you're going to need to compile a good amount of research that answers the research questions in your packet. While you are answering your research questions, please make sure that you are keeping track of the sources you are using. Notice that you need a minimum of 8 different sources by the end of this project. Now, this can be books, magazines, articles, or internet sources. So websites are fine. Just notice there's no Wikipedia allowed, and then everyone should really make sure you understand Google is not a source. Google is a search engine. And I'll talk more on that later on. But the research comes first. Then you're going to make a pictorial input chart, which is basically a very fancy name for a poster. You'll have 6 categories of information. You'll have very easy to read titles. There'll be pictures that you're going to draw or print. And then notice that you need vocabulary words, which, I will obviously help you with. But for example, if I'm looking at Catherine of Aragon as my person, I might have, Aragon as a vocabulary word as a location from where she's from. So the poster should be neat, easy to read from far away, and have a color code so I can see the different sections. After you do the poster, you'll compile some more research, organize yourself into a different worksheet, but then you'll be working on a speech. The speech, again, will kind of follow the sections that you have already organized your research into, and you're going to write your speech in the first person, so it's you talking as that person, and then you're going to type your speech in Google Docs and submit it to Google Classroom. And then, as you notice up here, on the 21st and 22nd of March, you will be presenting your speech and the posters to the class. Don't forget that you should write your speech in your own words, because plagiarized speeches will automatically earn a 0, and you cannot redo it if you cheat. So if you look through your packet, you'll notice that you have the research project instructions here. You have the historical figures list. So again, look at Google Classroom, and next to your name there's a number. Whatever number you have is the person that you're in charge of. So for example, my name is, Miss Taylor, and I got number 60, so that would be for Dan Magellan. So just check Google Classroom and the person that you've been assigned from there. The pictorial input chart basically, again, is that poster with the large picture in the middle. You'll notice that this person has created multiple sections. And I obviously will supply the poster paper, but you're going to want to work on collecting the correct amount of information in order to eventually create a poster that has a lot of nice, neatly written bullet points on it. Notice the requirements. There are 5. You're going to use your research and organize your information into the categories. Okay, so there's categories on the mind map handout in your worksheet. You want to organize your information into those categories after you've collected it. You then need to create a large central illustration of your person. And if it's not, something that you're like, oh, I don't know what they look like because there's not really any pictures of them. Maybe it's something that they created. If they're a king or a queen, maybe they were in charge of a country, or if they were from, a scientific background, then something scientific that they created or represented. Make sure you title your categories, color code each section of the information. Use bullet points, please, no complete sentences, and then make sure that you do have pictures for each category. So there should be a total of 10 pictures overall across this entire poster. And then the vocabulary terms that are going to be in there. So, for example, if it's a place, if it's an important person, if it's something that they created, or it's a religion, right? I'd have small but readable definitions, and the vocabulary terms have to be highlighted. We have to be able to see what they are. So, for example, values, natural rights, responsible, pride. In Philadelphia, it's a place, right? Immigrated, Constitution. So I've highlighted the different terms that we need to see right away. You are also welcome to write them on a separate piece of colored paper. This here is the rubric for what I expect a paper, or sorry, an A poster to look like. So notice that in order to earn an A, you need to meet all 5 of the requirements I just talked about. Need to be able to read it easily across the room. There's no mistakes on the poster, meaning that it's nice and neat. It's not scribbled out. Obviously, if there's like a little bit of whiteout, like it is what it is. But we're talking about the people who you write something and then you scribble it right next to it. That's messy. That makes it not as nice to look at. So making sure that overall the poster is visually pleasing. And then the research quality, the information needs to be thorough, well explained, and is presented in an easy to read format. And if I look at your poster, I should be able to find all my information within 5 to 10 minutes. So I'll let you look through here on your own, but just notice that the fewer requirements that you meet, the more that this goes down, and then the harder the poster is to read overall if that goes down as well. The speech requirements, again, this comes after you've done your research, after you've done your poster. You're going to want to have an introduction or a hook where you kind of like come alive because it's a wax museum, right? Like you almost are going to be, standing there awkwardly, just kind of still, and then all of a sudden you bring your person to life. So it should not be like, hello, my name is. I mean, that's not really that creative. It should be something very interactive or engaging. It should tell us where you were born, when and where, tell us about your family, what your person is famous for, what you are famous for, since you're embodying that person, and then interesting facts about your life, and then the death of the person. You can't get extra credit for coming in costume, for using props, or having sound effects. And then you'll notice here there's a speech outline. Again, this comes way further down the line, so I'm not going to go over it too much. But after you've done your research, after you've done your poster, then you can start working on the speech, and there are some options for you to choose from here. And then the rubric for the speech is here. So it should be about 1 to 2 minutes long, not really that long, actually. And it should use the outline. It should have an interesting hook. Is it engaging to listen to? Your information is explained, it's thorough, I can understand it, you've surpassed the questions from the outline. Now, notice the presentation skills here. You need to make great eye contact. I need to be able to hear you over the fan that is always on in the back of the room. And then I need to see that you've actually practiced your speech. Your first time giving your speech should not be right there in front of the class. And then you'll only earn an A on this category if you talk to us rather than reading to us. So if you haven't memorized and you're very active with it, that is going to get you an A. It's something where we want you to, be very familiar with your information, and therefore you shouldn't be just reading out to us from a piece of paper and very monotone. So it should be more interactive, you acting as the person and being the person and trusting your memory of, how this person was. So this is the instructions for the STEAM project. There are going to be more videos on how to do the individual portions of your packet, but this covers the project portion itself. Make sure you keep track of your due dates and remember that the quality of your work is incredibly important.